will start with with last from our talks today. Of course, there will be lightning talks if people submit, and after lightning talks, the closing of the event and some information regarding the next edition. But now we'll start with How to Work with Legacy Code and Keep Your Sanity by Maciej Szumowski.
Hello everybody. It's nice to see you still here for the last talk. I'm going to tell you 3 stories of my experience of working with legacy code, writing some applications in Python, what worked, what didn't, what kind of mindset works best when you work with legacy code. Code that is undocumented, has no automated tests, and you need to do something with it. If you'd like, we can make it more interactive by taking a short breaks between stories for the questions and not just doing questions at the end. But to do that, you need to submit the questions to Slido as I talk and not wait till the end of the talk. So, legacy code. There's a long dictionary definition there, which I'm not going to read, and you don't have to do it either. Why? Because the truth is, if you're an experienced software engineer, you know it when you see it. You know what is legacy code, and you know what is not. Sometimes you can be misled for a while, but generally you will recognize it. And how many of you have ever worked for any significant period of time in legacy code? Show of hands, please. Okay, so I would say 2/3 or so. How many of you are working with legacy code right now? Okay, about a half. You're, I guess, the right one. So for the rest of you, there's a high probability that you will be working with legacy code in the future, so you also have background record. And so there's a snippet there that says that in most cases legacy code is converted to modern software language and platform. So would you agree with that? Also show of hands if you do agree with that. Okay, no one. Yeah. So I would say this is not true, because in most cases it actually happens with legacy code that it gets patched, it gets fixed, and there's some poor guy still fixing bugs in it over the years, but it seldom gets rewritten. At least seldom gets rewritten successfully. Okay, the second part of the talk title is sanity. So, a dictionary definition. This is obviously not a psychological conference. We'll keep it simple. Let's agree that if you're making rational decisions and you're not happy, unhappy or frustrated, then you've managed to keep your sanity working with legacy code. Okay, a bit about me to give you the context of the stories. So this is what I started programming with. For those of you who don't recognize, that's an 8-bit computer ZX Spectrum with a very fast 3.5, I think, megahertz processor. And 64 kilos of RAM, of which I think 16 was actually the display memory, or it was mapped to ROM. So I started with this around 30 years ago. Of course, I quickly moved PC computers, and I've been working in programming professionally for about 20 years right now. And 7 last years, I've moved more into leadership and management, I would say. So that gives me a look at working and managing, or working with everything from the other side. And 3 of my last jobs are Silicon Valley startups at various stages of growth. So I don't really have experience working for large corporations. The companies that I've worked with were a couple of hundred people at most, right? Not thousands. And currently I'm working remotely, even with an all-remote team, Polish team here. working remotely is something you'd like to do, please contact me, we're hiring. In 2004, I heard about this language called Python, and I fell in love with it. It's been my favorite language ever since. I use a lot of other languages, but I would say that most of my programming is still done in Python. And currently at IT engineering at short.co if you're interested in checking out what current company. Okay, I guess contacts here. And let's go into story one. So PHP 4. That is not a good language if you don't know it. But newer PHPs are better, but still not as good as Python, obviously. And so shortly after I discovered Python, I was working with PHP 4 system at the time, at a small team. And I had this great idea. PHP sucks. Let's rewrite it in Python. Somehow, I don't know how, I not only convinced my teammates that Python was great and we should do it, I also convinced my management, which was, well, nowadays when I look at it, it was insane. But then, it seems great. At that time, there were 4 people working on projects for a couple of years. So it had, 200,000 lines code or so. Wasn't that large, but it was a mess. Because PHP 4 code with automated tests, with a lot of spaghetti code, logic mixed with views, and with undocumented SQL. First, I guess you can imagine how bad it was. Now, the Python system at the time was not what it is right now. Django wasn't even at 1.0. We used what was available at the time, which is Python 2.4, Twisted 6, and SQL Alchemy. SQL Alchemy probably you all don't know, heard of. And Twisted is a Python framework for writing network servers, basically supporting a lot of protocols, but it's pretty old school in style, I would say. It's like 15 years old in style, and it's not easy to learn. And obviously, none of us had real experience using any of those. So we were very brave, going on uncharted waters. On the front end, there was no Angular or React at the time either. We used XHTML, which is, I guess, dead right now, and some jQuery for the dynamic part, that's all. So, what happened? Who thinks it went well? Four optimists among us. Okay. So we made some, I don't know how we made those estimates, to be honest. Don't remember. I'm not sure even if that's matter, because obviously we couldn't really estimate that well. Why switching to a completely new technology that none of us have previous experience with. But we told our managers that it's going to take around 18 months to do that. Just that was not taken that well, but they did finally agree, okay, we will do it. Obviously, we also had the old PHP version support still. And so we would work on both of those 2 projects at the same time. And we all also realized that if we keep adding stuff to the old system, we're not going to actually have time to write the new one. What we didn't realize that it also made us chase a moving target, because everything we added would probably have to be added to the new system too. And by the way, this was quite a long time ago. Both of those systems are still in use in production in Polish banks. Actually, one of those is currently taking over the second one, and it is, I think, the one that uses the older version that is taking over that uses the newer one. And they're going to integrate data in a direction that we definitely did not expect. So, sounds like it worked quite well. unfortunately, it did not take 18 months. To get to a basic feature parity, we spent over 4 years. And after 4 years, we could sell it to new customers, but because we did also a lot of custom development for current customers on the old system, migrating those to new system was not that easy. But we had a Python-based system that had unit tests and documentation. Even the API documentation was only 1,100 pages long, generated from documents. So, I guess the lessons learned from that, mistakes that I've made, and hopefully you won't have to make it for yourself, is be careful about your own enthusiasm for new technologies, especially, well, test it on a small scale first. Don't jump into the water with a big project. Put your old project in definite maintenance mode. Do not add new features to it. Okay, bug fixing is obviously something you need to do if you have customers using this, but try not to add anything to it, because it is hard to keep up with a moving target. So we did get the initial buy-in from the business side. They agreed. But after about 2 years passed and we still didn't have the new system, the buy-in started to evaporate. So don't just get one, cultivate it, keep them informed, because they wanted us to add some features to the old system. We said, guys, we agreed that we wouldn't add major features to the old system. Yes, but you also promised us that we would have this new system, and you don't. You haven't delivered, and that was, I guess, fair enough from the business point of view. At least even it was a pretty painful thing for us programmers. Okay. And so make a decision about feature parity and stick to it. So we agreed to set not exactly all the features in the old system, because some of them weren't used that often or weren't that well designed, and we said, okay, we can cut those from the new versions. But in the end, we didn't. Because actually customers started using those. But only because they were improved in the old system when we were working on the new one. So we fixed them in the old system, and so added ourselves more work to move them to the new system. Okay, I see I have one question. Would you comment on Michael Further's definition of legacy code without tests? I would agree most, but not completely. Because if the code is well documented and simple enough, then it doesn't have to have automated tests to not consider legacy code from my point of view. Okay, let's move to story 2. So that was another company, a couple of years later, and the funny thing is that I was recruited to work on something completely else. But between the time that I accepted the offer and the time that I actually joined the company, a key developer left there, leaving a service at Euro, and no one else knew. So naturally, they decided, okay, we can take someone who doesn't know about this service and works on something already important, and give it to them, so they can maintain, fix, take care of it, whatever. Or we can take the new guy who doesn't work in any of our existing projects and doesn't know anything about the service either. So that's how I ended up at it. This was a backend service only, just for the API calls. It was using Python and verified free. Verified is about, I think, 16 or 17, something like that. Not that it was ever that popular. There was no documentation. There were no units. The service was from, while it was invisible to the end user, It was critical in a business sense because before a lot of the products of the company used to just stop working. The products that had deployed at customer sites. And also, the funny thing I heard from my manager, when I joined it, there's a team and they are writing this service. So the company, they had a lot of Python, but the funny thing is that most of the Python is actually on the devices installed at the user's side, and the actual company backend was mostly in Java. So that was one of the few services that was on the company side, written in Python, and decided, okay, we will write it in Java. That's the guy who said. So you just have to keep it for a couple of months, then it's gone, right? And who thinks they did rewrite it in 6 months? 12 months. 2 years. 3 years. Okay, so I've left there over 3 years ago, and that code is still running. There's no Java version. Alright, so I made a lot of mistakes in that project. I think some of them were because I was multiplying it solo. And I'll show those right away. So, what happens when you misunderstand what you're supposed to be doing? So, I thought I was supposed to improve the service, keep it running obviously, but what my manager actually thought I should be doing is basically spend 3 hours of each day manually checking the logs, if everything's okay, which I did automate in the first day, and had to spend about 3 minutes of my time in the morning instead of 3 hours previous guy did. And I would, if there was a critical bug, then I would fix it. Now, what I understood is all the bugs, and there was a quite big backlog of bugs, of 200 or so, already reported by the QAs in the JIRA. And so I thought, okay, I'll fix those, right? 200 bugs, 6 months. Most of them were pretty simple, I thought. I can do it. Of course, that was before I knew there were no unit tests. And fixing bugs when there are no unit tests is not such fun. So, what happened when I was managing GQ? So, basically, I was, at that time, had a lot of experience under my belt. And so, the manager had a lot of people to manage, a lot of teams. He basically let me at it. Okay, so he gave me this initial direction, and basically, let's check in 3 months, see how we should do it. Of course, I worked on some side projects, had some teams who needed something done, which I had experience in, and they didn't. But that was my main responsibility. But no one was checking it out. So I started doing stuff I thought would be cool to do in this service. I mean, okay, so it works pretty fast, or fast enough. But if it were faster, let's optimize the performance a bit. Okay, there's still 100 bugs in it, but frankly, I'm sick of picking the bugs. I'm bored. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to improve this service, right? And that was not good. I mean, the idea was good, but it didn't end up that well. So, the funny thing is that unlike the typical scenario with Silicon Valley startups, or companies that I worked before, is that I was working in Poland, and I had QA who worked in Silicon Valley, which is usually the programmers in Silicon Valley, and they had QA in Poland or India or whatever, right? So I had this guy, he actually had automated tests for the service, but the QA there was completely separate department for programmers, and they didn't share the tests. They said, oh, they're very difficult to set up. It will take several days for you to set it up. We'll just run it for you wherever you want. And I said, okay, let's do it. Well, they run anyway. They were that poorly written. But they did test something, I guess. I guess I never saw the source code, just the result. So anyway, After I've been doing this bug fixing, I've improved performance of 3 times or so. So I would be fed, I was doing great. So I submitted a new version for testing, hoping that it would get released, right? And then I heard that the guy, my QA, is no longer on that project. He's been moved. He now does something else, he doesn't have time to test it. He doesn't have time to actually run those unit tests. Now, the release cycles at that company were pretty slow, but still, after submitting a version for QA and not hearing from them for 2 months, or hearing, okay, we'll get to it later, 2 months, I have already code. From my point of view, it's ready to deploy in production. It's running testing environment, it's my testing environment, pretty well. But the QA said, oh no, it hasn't been tested. It hasn't passed because no one has run it, right? So, it did not get deployed in 4 months. Actually, it did not get deployed in 6 months. And then I took the company. That's another story. So, be careful about your own enthusiasm for improving stuff. Small improvements, cool. But if you got the half of the service, so you can rewrite it and it's better, just think about whether this is actually something that needs to be done. Programmers have this tendency to tinker with things and try to make them perfect. But sometimes this is not what you should be doing. And if in doubt, just make sure you're actually aligned with the people who manage you, who own the company, the shared stakeholders, and that this is what they think you should be doing. If you think you should be doing this and they don't, well, one side has to convince the other, right? Or someone's going to not be happy. Automated tests save lives. And they, unlike people, cannot really be taken away from you. So, to be honest, what I should have done before doing any big refactorings is write the unit tests myself, right? But it's just not sexy. I mean, tinkering is fun. Writing unit tests, it's more of a habit. I would say a habit you have to cultivate. So do cultivate. And also don't believe those that are just going through their own version of Story 1, like this manager and the team of Java developers. By the way, those Java developers, none of them knew Python. So they were writing not to a system that they had no experience with, as I write in my version of Story 1, but from a system that they don't really know. Okay, they had some spec on how it's supposed to work, which is completely out of date, and they're supposed to look at the source. And, I mean, they were not bad developers. I mean, I think in this situation can be understood why they did not rewrite it in 6 months or ever later. I guess the project got cancelled. Okay, let's do another Q&A break. How do you deal with inflexible programmers? How do you convince others to adapt newer ways instead of creating more and more technical debt? So, there are a couple of approaches, I would say. And one of those, and actually that is quite popular, even if it's not the best, is that you take those people and you let them work on those couple mainframes and whatever, and they make good money on it, and they don't have to learn anything new. You just put them on the side, right? So, but that's the lazy way. Now, the better way is to actually mentor those people so they do adapt, but it is hard. I mean, I've been doing software management for about 7 years now, and I wouldn't say that I can make everyone be willing to learn. I mean, this has to come from inside. You can remove the distractions, you can remove the obstacles, and nudge people, help them, show them something interesting that they can learn, but the drive has come from the inside. I think it's still easier in programming because I hope that most of people programming, they do it from their passion. and not just because of labels, right? I mean, this might be changing a bit, because more and more people who are not that passionate are entering the business. But I think even if they enter the business and stay there, without passion at the beginning, and stay there, instead of burning out or switching into project management or something later, you can impact it with this passion. I mean, just giving a good example, personal example, right? A role model, I would say. By the way, I still do programming, right? Not just like only. I wouldn't have it that way. Second question. Have you tried to split the old system into modules of microservices that could then easily be replaced with Python counterpart? No, we haven't. And yes, nowadays this is an obvious solution. I mean, with microservices, people know about microservices. They know it is how you deal with a large monolith system that is like as a code. You actually split it, extract part by part, while preserving continuity, right? This is what we should have done. We did it. What if passion drives them to do it wrong anyway? What wrong how? Can I ask for some clarification on that question? Whoever that question is.
Yeah, so basically, if they're passionate about it, but they choose a completely wrong way of doing it, and they think this is the right way.
Okay, so I would say this depends if they're like junior developers or senior ones. So if the junior developers and the passion drives them to wrong choices, I guess pair them with someone more level-headed, more experienced, who can help them, and they work together, right? Now, if they're senior developers who make their own choices, then I guess I'll be brutal here, just fire them. Let them make better choices somewhere else. I mean, that's the definition of senior developer for me. The guy that does right things most of the time, not all the time, because we all make mistakes, right? But if someone makes wrong choices most of the time, I mean, if they're young, teach them. If they're not young anymore, just let them go somewhere else. Do you have opposite situation? Programmer who is too greedy to use new technologies instead of all the work working. Aren't all programmers like that? I would say that programmers who try to stick to the old technologies only, are at least in Python world in minority. I don't know how it is in Java engineering, for example. I feel, because I did also some Java engineering a while ago, that they're a more conservative bunch. That they actually stick to the old versions for longer than Python people. But still, there are still a lot of us doing Python 2 programming, right? So perhaps we're not that innovative either. So yeah, that does happen, and quite often. Okay. Story 3. This is, by the way, my current job. But don't be scared. It's not as bad as it sounds. So when code in a startup starts to gather technical debt. So I joined shortly, about 3.5 years ago. As basically the guy who's supposed to create the engineering team inside, because the product was developed by a software house before that. I mean, I guess if you work in a software house that does projects for US customers, that's kind of typical situation that they start the software house and either they keep with the software house or at some point decide, okay, we're going to build a team somewhere or even buy the team completely, right? It also happens. Not so often, but it does happen. So I started on it. And the plan was to gradually ease the software house out of the development of it. So they would still be working on us for at least half a year or even more. And in the meantime, I would be hiring people, training them on the code base, and they would join. And then, perhaps, depending on the money we would either keep the software house or let them go, right? So the problem with software houses, I guess, is that they have various skill levels, and the project teams are not that large. So if you're a startup, you don't have that money, and you get a project team from a software house, you, for example, get a backend, a frontend, QA, and part-time PM to manage that, right? Now, that usually means that this backend and this frontend, their code doesn't get reviewed by anyone who also knows the project itself, which means there's a lot of potential for mistakes in business logic, for example. If you buy a bigger team and they actually do code reviews internally, it's slightly better. This is not what happened there. The team was in the software house was pretty small. So they did it for about 5-6 months, something like that. There were already problems in the code base. They weren't so bad. There were good parts, obviously written by someone a little more experienced, and there were parts where someone was trying to do something with Django. Django 1.6 and Angular 1, the project used. So they did try to do something, but didn't really know how to do it in Django. So they figured out their own way, which was kind of weird, kind of worked, not so well, but it should have been just thrown away and replaced with a much, much smaller version that actually used what Django offered. So, death of 1,000 cuts. However quick or according you push or later finds out. So this is, I guess, mostly in startups, but not only. There were, you at the beginning trying to find the market fit. You're not sure if actually what you're doing is going to sell at all. You're not sure if the feature you're doing is going to be used by anyone. So what sense does it make to refactor code that might be thrown away a month later? Right? Sounds logical? Do you? Show of hands, please. Who thinks that makes sense? Not so many people. Interesting. So it does not make sense from engineering point of view. Not much at least, right? Because in practice, usually this code stays and the technical debt piles up. But from the business point of view, it makes a lot of sense because 9 entire startups actually go out of business in a year or so, right? All these codes like lost. So yeah, it's painful for us, but from the money point of view, it makes sense, unfortunately. Skeletons in the backlog. So we on ticket 9,000 something right now, and this ticket there was a bug reported, and it turned out to be duplicate bug of ticket 20 something. So what happened, especially if you Scrum, I think when you do Kanban or you do something else, it's probably not as bad, but if you do Scrum and you did Scrum at the beginning, no longer do Scrum, is that because the product owner decides on the priorities, the new features get to the top of the backlog, and the minor bug fixes go to the bottom of the backlog where they stay for a year, 2, 3, or 10, or forever. Well, you can prune the backlog and remove them, which at least keeps your backlog in order. I mean, they're not getting fixed anyway, so you might as well clean the backlog and not have it cluttered. And the truth is that the bugs don't get fixed because the new features are optimized. Okay, a couple of lessons learned there. So they won't let me fix it. Is it easier to ask for forgiveness or permission, really? So, as I mentioned before, I believe in aligning with the shareholders a lot. But sometimes, as a developer, you have to realize those people, they have no idea about the code. And if you feel something needs to be refactored, needs to be fixed, just do it. Just do it without telling them. Tell them afterwards okay, how long it took and what are the results, but sometimes it's better not to ask for permission, but for forgiveness later. I mean, if you're a junior guy and don't have much experience, you're probably going to make a wrong choice. A lot of wrong choices there in refactor stuff that doesn't need to be refactored, or stuff that actually doesn't get better after refactoring. But if you've done it for a while, I guess you get this feeling which code needs to go and how to improve the rest. And trust or frustration, your choice. So this ties into the previous one a bit. And it's basically, you have two choices when dealing with business owners, is that you either build trust with them from the start, or you will get frustrated later. Because they will not let you do things that you feel should be done because they don't trust you. They don't trust your judgment. I mean, they might trust you as a person, but just not your judgment. So build this trust right away. And the best way of building this trust is actually to be transparent, be as open as possible without overwhelming them with technical details, but be as open as you can, as they can take. Do it or not do it, don't try it. You're nothing, right? So when you refactor something, when you fix something, don't try it. Do it. Or decide you're not doing it, but don't stop halfway. Because code halfway refactor is really worse than code not refactored at all. Use experiment mode mindset when you need it. So when you develop features for startups and you don't know if those features are going to be used, as I mentioned before, it's easy to prototype them, show them to the customer or even a potential customer, see if they're interested, deploy that on a demo, see if the people use it or use some kind of A/B testing and give it just to some smaller segment of more brave customers. But do switch out of it. You no longer need to. So if you don't, what's going to happen is this experimental code that you wrote just for prototyping purposes will end up in your production code. Because the business will say, okay, but the feature works, right? Well, perhaps it doesn't work that fast, but just put it in master, deploy it, and let's work on a new feature. Because they understand that the code that works can actually be very, very bad underneath. And will increase your technical debt. More bodies can help with some problems, but not all of those. So when the startup cannot keep up with the demand for the new features, and I would say no startup really can, because no startup has unlimited manpower or unlimited bodies, they hire more people. Unfortunately, if you just hire more people up into the team and don't change your process, what they're going to do is not going to write better code. The better code they already had, they're going to write code at about the same level of quality, assuming the skill levels are okay, because they won't fix things, at least in the beginning. At least won't fix them well. So if you hire new people, it's better to actually improve your process before they join. Instead of code reviews if you're not doing that already, right? That's like the one thing. Do test-driven development if you want to do, but if you're not doing test-driven development, do tests anyway, right? And if you write them afterwards. Okay, that's all. And I'll do the questions. No. How to deal with wrong core devs. They don't want to refactor code because it works. Business is happy because it saves time. I have to work with bad code. No, you don't. I mean, there are other companies where you don't have to work with bad code. There are, even in this large company, you don't have to work in a team when they make it. I mean, you're not a snake, right? They don't want to help you. I mean, convince them. If you can convince them, convince yourselves to be somewhere else. Have you ever worked in a project without technical debt? Well, no project has a lot of technical debt, I guess, at the beginning. But no. No. I mean, even the open source projects today did some pull requests for example, we all had some technical debt. Even though open source software is usually open. I mean, the natural libraries are of better quality than the commercial software. So no, technical debt is there everywhere. I mean, even if you remove it, you add a new feature and you still have something new. This is like removing, cutting your grass. It's the road, you need to do it repeatedly. So the factor, still it will grow back. How to convince management that proof of concept during experiment in fact is not ready to use in production. So that's actually a hard one. And I guess the answer was before that, and it's building trust. So you have to build trust so they believe you, even though you can't prove it. Because you can show them the code, but they won't know it's that code, right? You know that. And you have to build that trust so they believe you that this code is not production. It's easier if you have a well-defined process for that, where it's clear that this is an experimental branch and it doesn't go into production branch without extensive rewrite, review, whatever is necessary, right? Have you read Mythical Man? Do you like it? Yes, I have. And I do like it, even though it's kind of dated right now. But yeah, the principles are still valid. And do you think that the software released version 2.0, it's time to move something new with version 0.01? Okay, so you switch away from version 2 of something to early version of something new. So that depends on what you're doing. But in most cases, if you're doing standard business software, the answer is very strong no. You stick to the library that you have. If you're doing a new project, sure, but make sure that it's actually, you can withdraw from that decision, have that option, so test it, only then commit to that course of action. Okay. Thank you for all the questions.